Hey guys, this is Mr. H, and I'm going to do question number 42 from the Regents review. This is basically a quadratic word problem. We did some quadratic word problems a few weeks ago. A lot of you guys were pretty solid with it. Some of you struggled a little bit, but they like quadratic word problems, so you should be able to, you have to be able to at least be able to answer part of this. So I'm going to read this equation or this word problem, and then I'm going to kind of work through kind of how you should solve it. And basically, you're going to be using your calculator a lot on this one. All right, so let's read it. It says a ball is projected up in the air from the surface of a platform to the ground below. The height of the ball above the ground in feet. The height in feet is modeled by the function f of t equals a negative 16t squared plus 96t plus 112, where t is the time and seconds after the ball is projected. And all that projected means is it's being thrown up in the air. And then here's what you need to do. You need to state the height of the platform in feet. That's the first thing. Second thing, you need to state the coordinates of the vertex. That's the second thing. And you got to explain what it means in the context of the problem. That's three. And then the fourth thing that you got to do is you got to state the entire interval over which the ball's height is decreasing. All right, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how you can do this. Now, before we graph anything, there's some really basic things that you should know. First of all, whenever you look at a quadratic, and especially the word problem, whatever this last number is, whatever that last number is, that is the initial height of the ball. That's the height from which you're throwing the ball. That's the initial height. That's the y-intercept. That's the initial height that you're throwing the ball. So the very first question is state the height of the platform. That's what the height of the platform is. It's going to be 112 feet. That's the answer to number one. So whenever they ask you, how high was the ball, or how high was it that you threw, what was the height of the thing that you threw the ball from, or what was the initial height of the ball? All of those are basically the same thing. And it's always that last constant number. That is the height, because that's the height when the time is still zero. So it's the y-intercept. And I drew this, and I wanted you to see the 112 is the initial height of the ball. So that's the height of the platform. All right, let's keep moving. Number two, it says state the coordinates of the vertex. Now, in order to find the coordinates of the vertex, we're going to graph this, and we're going to use, since it's going to be a maximum, we're going to use menu 63. And then that's going to tell us the x and the y coordinate. And then all we have to do is we're going to interpret that. So we should be able to do number one, we should be able to do number two, and you should be able to explain what it means. So let's go. And then the last one is, now the last one, a lot of you guys are always poor with the interval stuff. So I'm going to leave that for later, but let's go. Now we need the calculator. So let's go get the calculator and let's get this popping. All right, here. Let's go. Now, this was from the last question that I did. I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff. Menu 14, done. Now, I need to enter a function. Now, I was using this as a relation for the last question, number 41. Now, watch. If I press the tab key, it's still in relation mode. I don't want it in relation mode anymore because I don't have a relation. I actually have a function that I want to enter. So the way that you get out of this is you go menu 3 and then choice 1 for functions. Now this is a safety net. If you forget how to get out of relation mode and you're taking this exam, just reset your calculator. When you reset your calculator, it's going to go back to function mode. It's going to go back to function mode. And now I hope that you don't have to do that, but if you need to do that, then do that, okay? But to go back to function, get rid of that. To go back to function, you're just going to do menu 30 1. All right, so it's in function mode. So now I'm going to make this, actually, I'm just going to leave it. Now you can't graph the t's. So this says f of t equal to negative 16 t squared plus 96 t minus plus 112. You can't put t's in. The only thing that you can graph for functions is x. So let's go back to the calculator and let's enter this. So this is going to be a negative 16. Now, as soon as you see that next negative 16, you should say, oh yeah, that's going to be a frown, because negative people frown. And this is going to be plus 96x, and then we're going to have plus 112. Now we're going to press enter. Now, so this is what the calculator is going to look like. And most of you are like, dang, that doesn't look like what Mr. H had on his iPad. Well, the reason that it doesn't is we don't care about this 0 over here. We don't care at all about this 0 because it's going to be negative. We can't have negative time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to move this over. And then I'm going to try to fix this window so that it looks more like my iPad. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do menu 63 because I want to find the maximum. So I'm going to start over here to the left and I'm going to pull it. Now, when I pass the maximum, it's going to tell me, hey, you got the maximum. All right, there is the maximum, 3,256. Now, when I found the maximum, it made the window much smaller than I want it to be. So now I know that the maximum, I can write that down on my iPad. So the maximum, question number 2, occurs at 3,256. That's the vertex. That's the vertex. And now we're going to explain what it means. But before I do that, I'm going to go back and try to make my calculator look like that. So here, in order to change the window, I'm going to go menu, window, and then I'm going to go up to window settings. And then I'm going to set the settings that I need it to be. So for the time, remember, the x value can't be negative. You can't have negative time. So we're going to start at 0. And then we're going to go here. And I'm going to go up to like 10 because it never takes more than 10 seconds for something to hit the ground because it's going really fast. So you don't have to make it too large. In fact, you could probably make it less than 10, but I'm going to leave it at 10. Now, we know that the maximum is 256. So I'm going to go, it starts at 0, and we're going to go up to, let's say 280. And then I'm just going to press OK. Now, this looks more like what my graph looks like. Here's the vertex. Here's the y-intercept. If I did menu 51. Now, when I do menu 51, sometimes it changes my graph, and I don't like that. So watch, when I pass the vertex, it shifts it. Actually, it didn't shift it. Oh, so there, look, there's the y-intercept, 0, 1, 12, which is what I told you. That's the initial height of the ball. That's the height of the platform. However you want to say it, those are the same thing. The initial height of the ball, the height of the platform, those are the same thing. All right, so it's 112. We already got that one. Now we have 3,256. Now we got to interpret it. Now, notice, on the y-axis, I labeled it feet. On the x-axis, it's being measured in seconds. So this is saying it took 3 seconds to reach 256 feet which is the maximum. So that's the interpretation of the vertex. It took 3 seconds to reach the maximum of 256 feet. 3 seconds. Now, here's the thing that you guys should be able to do. You know the x is measured in seconds. You know the y is measured in feet. So anything that you get like this, 3,256, you just say 3 seconds, 256 feet. That's the interpretation. Now we got one more thing to do. So I'm going to get rid of this so I can go back and show you this last piece. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Now, so here's the maximum. Right here, and we have the coordinates at 3, 256. Now they want to know what is the entire interval where the ball is decreasing. Now, so remember, whenever you're looking for intervals, you're looking for x values. So we're going to start over here. The ball starts here and it's increasing here. It's increasing. So we are going to be looking at this interval. And when it hits the maximum of 3 seconds, then it starts to decrease. Right? So we're going to decrease. Now, how long does it decrease? So it starts decreasing at 3. The question is, how long does it go before it hits the ground? So basically what we need to find is what's the 0? So now we can go back to the calculator. And the last thing that we need is we need a 0. So I'm going to go menu 61. And I'm going to start over here. And I'm going to pull it past. And it says the 0 is 7. So it took 7 seconds for the ball to hit the ground. If I go back to my iPad, it took 7 seconds to hit the ground. So it's decreasing from 3 all the way down to 7. It starts to decrease from after 3 seconds, and it keeps decreasing until it hits the ground at 7. So this would be the interval. It's decreasing from the maximum all the way down to the 0. That's it. Now, that may seem like a lot of work, but like I said at the beginning, almost every time you're looking at these problems, there are 3 things that you need. You need the y-intercept, you need the vertex, and you need the zeros. We don't want this 0 over here because that's negative, so we can ignore that. We don't want anything down here because it doesn't go below the ground, but we need the y-intercept, that's the initial height, we need the maximum, and we need the zeros. That's what you need for these word problems. That's it, guys. I hope that this is useful. And if you're still not sure how to do these, please contact me. Please let me know. All right, this one is a little longer, but I hope it's been helpful. So let me go and stop this and then post it.